Greetings, I am Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play Arcade Spirits together.
Yes.
Alright, so this is right where we left off in our last episode, and we are still kind of giggling that they use like a reference to the actual burying of video games.
Yes.
And we are so thrilled at the idea that they're just like, you know what?
Yeah, this happened in New Mexico.
Video game utopia. We're just not going to go for a dystopia, we're going for a utopia.
Utopia of
Alright,
games.
so the crisis only exists in theory now. Here we go.
Aha.
Sometimes, I wonder what it'd be like for people in the darkest timeline, where everything went wrong. Are gamers considered nerds and outcasts? Are arcades vanishing points of nostalgia?
It's true.
Yes,
Yes,
they are.
you are
And
completely.
this
This is
on
obviously supposed to be a little
point.
bit tongue-in-cheek,
It's
a little bit meta. Are they these things that they are clearly in our world? Because they really are. Like, if you guys don't know what an arcade is, as somebody who liked arcades growing up, they are so much fun. But I like them in reference to actually like going to a skate park, basically, or like you go to basically where you go rollerblading.
When you say, I was just saying, do you mean like a roller rink?
I do mean a roller rink.
Okay, skate park outdoors, roller rink indoors.
No, I forget. It's a roller rink. I apologize.
It's okay.
But I've always really enjoyed them. Like, they're just a lot of fun. It's cool to just really be like, I can do one of two things. I can go play games with people, or I can go out and go run around in a rink.
So
and it's a lot of fun.
The last ones I ever went to, the last arcade I ever went to in my youth was a holdover in California where my dad lives. And it was a Nickle arcade.
Oh
So
no, it's
they
even
had
worse.
all the old games, but because it was more modern, they turned them all to a nickel. And so everything cost 5 cents to play to continue. They didn't have any of those like $1 games, none of those 50-cent games. It was all 5 cents. So you could take $5 in there and play all day. As long
I
as,
think
you didn't die
that's
immediately.
the one thing though that is really hard for a lot of people to want to go to an arcade, ironically enough, is that arcades, they're like, well, we need more money to be able to survive. And I'm going, yeah, but you're now so much more expensive. You're not fun to go to anymore.
You're also giving so
because-
little product for
Yes.
your cost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they're trying to move people through and stuff, there's so much experience of an arcade, especially ones that are like combo bowling alleys and stuff now,
Right.
or like, kids fun sitters or what have you,
Yes.
where it's way more of an experience of this costs $1.50 to play, and you probably get 2 or 3 minutes of play out of it.
Yeah, we've actually been to a big one here in Colorado, or at least big for, I guess, our area, because we don't really go to Denver.
So-
but it was fun to go there, but it was also one of those, it was a combination of a bowling alley and an arcade. It was actually one that we went to for work.
It was a work party, and they bought us, they bought everyone like a little play card of $20.
Which you're surprised going like, this really doesn't get you all that much
It
at all,
doesn't.
because it's so expensive. Like,
And all the games
dang.
that are ticket games, they don't play very long, because they're meant to move you through.
Yeah, and it's frustrating that way where you're like, but I want to play.
Anyway, here we go, guys. All right, the mind boggles. All right, but make no mistake, as popular as they are, the arcade industry is a dodgy, risky prospect for a job. Plenty make a run at it, only to come up short. So we're talking like, this is basically their concept restaurants. That's what these are.
Yeah.
And so you're going, you either make it or you
don't,
break it.
or you
And
break
go,
it,
and
yeah.
it's like people going, yeah, your concept arcade is not, no. On the other hand, there's one on every single corner. It reminds me about 7-Eleven vibe.
Oh,
going,
no, the Starbucks
oh, yeah,
joke.
you're not very convenient. And then turns around. So, like, there's this one person fielding a 7-Eleven going, convenience store, huh? Well, how convenient are you? And they turn around on the intersection, and across, kitty corner across the intersection, there's another 7-Eleven. Well, pretty fucking convenient, I guess.
Yep, it was so good.
So, arcades are probably pretty fucking convenient and thereby hard to win because there's so many.
All
right.
That's great.
All right. Considering Iris was tasked with getting me a job I'd enjoy and could keep for more than a few months, this left me a bit confused. Maybe
just
this
a
one's
little bit.
already successful? I don't. At least I could eat Wub Sub every day.
I love Wub Sub. Wub Sub is just like my life.
Wub Sub is just, they have the best sandwiches.
Wub Sub, eat flesh.
Oh, eat flesh? Oh my God.
That was such a joke. So at least when I was in school, because Subway was so popular at the time, like and it had they had Jared at the time that was going on
yeah,
in
that was
school.
a campaign,
Yeah, so it was really funny because everybody was like, they heard it all the time, and finally, eventually, just people were just being like, Subway, eat flesh.
And you're like,
you
well,
know.
there we go.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can honestly argue it that way, going, people eat there and they lose weight. It eats their flesh.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Actually, my dad and I had this horrible joke about hummingbirds.
Oh,
where
no.
basically we were like, you should genetically engineer hummingbirds so that they go and they just hunt down people, because hummingbirds need a lot of sugar, right?
Right.
And if you can convert fat, if you convert lipids into sugar, you would basically have hummingbirds
So you
going
have
after people.
Liposuction hummingbirds.
Yeah, basically.
That's what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
It was so horrible.
So dark.
Right, okay, so
I was
again,
wow.
my dad has a super dark sense of humor sometimes
Yes.
that I could grab out of him, but other times I really couldn't. And I will admit, it's totally horrific joke, but I'm like, it goes after anybody.
Okay,
it's
so-
not just specifically like, oh yeah, all the fat people. It's
No,
like,
just
you have
if
fat on,
fat,
you're screwed.
You now just have these predators
Which
that eat
Everybody has fat
It's
unless you're
true.
really unhealthy or you have a genetic predisposition, because
Yes.
there are some people who really do have an extremely low percentage of
So,
body fat because
my
of genetics.
first stepdad had,
Ah.
and unfortunately he has passed now, and I am disappointed because I thought he would. So that was a loss on my side. All right, but when he was alive, he had Marfan's, and if you don't know about the experience, it's a genetic condition. I suppose people call it a disease. Most people with Marfan's don't live past the age of 30 because it is a connective tissue disorder, and so all of your connective tissue isn't very well connected,
Right.
which makes you really, really tall usually, and having like very long hands and that
He has
kind of
yowie
fingers.
hands.
He did
Uh-huh.
for sure. Anyway, but he was
Long-
also built like Jack Skellington, and I'm not kidding.
Oh,
like
okay.
he was 6'7",
Uh-huh.
and he was built like a twig.
That's
like he when
amazing.
I was 15, he wore smaller pants than I did. Like the dude had like 1.5% body fat, 2% on a really good day.
Right.
And his body, because fat is based in connective tissue,
Right.
your body cannot store it. So that's
Right.
one of the experiences of Marfan's. And if I had known anything about cosplay, because he did like to dress up for Halloween, but I was not a nerdy enough kid to know.
You were like, I could have had him be Jack
absolutely
Skellington.
would have encouraged him to dress up as so many freaking cool things,
Uh-huh.
and he would have. It would have been great. At any rate, Iris, this isn't me saying no. It's an interesting prospect, but I mean, are you sure about this? You say you're 99% sure based on
99.97%.
my
Sure.
entire personality profile and your identity identifier system, which is still beta, so maybe it's not as good as. Won't this be like my lifeguard job though? Satisfying but short-lived? This arcade doesn't exactly look like a 5-star. It's no Deco's place, that's for sure.
Palace.
Oh, Deco's Palace. Thank
Palace,
you.
Palace.
We don't have gambling anymore. We just have
Uh-huh.
arcades.
Oh, right.
All of Las Vegas is
Oh,
gambling
no.
has been outlawed.
Oh!
Because it's too risky and dangerous
Oh!
and too predatory.
Oh!
And all you have is just arcades.
Oh,
What?
speaking of actually really cool things. So,
Oh, yeah,
we
gambling
actually
and
learned
games.
something super neat. Whoops, I apologize. Hit the
Uh-oh.
button.
No,
Deco's
no
Palace, but we didn't
buttons.
move any closer. Sorry, my hand's on the thing, but I'm gonna move my hand away. All right, my hand is on the controls, and I'm just out of it now.
All right, so-
All right. So basically, what happened is that it was announced. Actually, I apologize. I actually only found out about it through the Jimquisition.
Yes.
From Jim Sterling, but apparently in the UK, loot boxes have finally been qualified by the House of Lords as actually being gambling.
Yes.
So if you run into any games that start doing stuff like that, at least in the UK, which I imagine and I hope that it starts making bigger waves in other parts around the world, but that loot boxes will slowly start being listed as gambling. It's fine to have gambling. So this is not me going gambling is a bad thing, but my biggest thing and concern has always been going like, you're exposing kids to basically addictive behaviors and ways that companies really do try to
So-
get you interested in performing to give them money,
Basically, gambling is a predatory thing, and you need
Yes.
to be educated how to do it to keep yourself safe. And also, it is addictive because of the nature of,
Yes.
of basically, it's more addictive in capitalistic societies largely.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the nature of winning the capitalist lottery,
Model,
basically.
yeah.
That you can win capitalism, which you kind of can.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, anyways, that there's
Except
this
it's so
experience of
rare.
there are very different rules and regulations if you have gambling in something than if you don't. So now all games that are going to persist in having loot boxes have to follow gambling regulations with gambling labels, which means only over 18.
Yes, which is going to be really interesting for that part, and that's why everybody was really kind of freaking out about it. And I was reading some comments on it on Twitter where they were like, dude, it's a big deal actually that the House of Lords does anything.
I was gonna say, anyway, a big win for that and for supporting people and for labeling things as what they are and not being able to use marketing lingo to basically go, I'm not poking them anymore.
Right?
All right.
All right, okay.
And to be perfectly honest, I haven't set foot inside an arcade in,
oh dear.
15 years.
Whoa!
I remember really enjoying arcades when I was a kid. I'm wonder why I stopped going to them. Oh, that is a memory we are going to run into.
It'll be interesting.
And given that it has suggested that we have a dark past, or like a very troubled past, especially with our friend Juniper, was it?
Yeah, Juniper.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Juniper's really cute. She's adorable.
I was going to say, but the two of you basically ran away from something pretty rough with your families and such. That, yeah, I'm interested to learn that story.
Yeah, this will be really fun. I also like the fact that even as much as so I think it's really interesting to have basically a story that adapts to your choices sort of thing, where it'll be like, we have a basic idea for the framework, but you get to choose all the details. So whatever you agree to, kind of like in Oxenfree, or what you pick and choose will actually slowly define where the story kind of goes or focuses on.
And then this game has described itself as having that exactly, that your choices will be reflected in other characters' knowledge, in your own character knowledge, and in all the cutscenes.
Which is going to be super
which
cool.
I'm really excited about. Like, that is one of the things that was part of their marketing pitch, and I am just, like, really on board for that idea. Anyway, Iris interrupts that thought, eager to show off her homework.
My sources say yes.
Trust me, when I said I was 99.97% sure, I meant it. That's not some arbitrary number. I'm designed to be a bit silly and whimsical, but my math is deadly serious. My coders made me to be the warm, personable front of a database array that's currently laser targeted on getting you exactly what you need. Right here, right now.
Exactly what I need. No matter what that is. Right here.
It's
in
gonna
this
happen,
parking
honey.
lot.
You're gonna love it.
Right now.
Oh, come on, let's do it.
Well, if I need a drink of water, I better get inside. I might do that.
Honey,
and
I'm
when
thirst.
this place inevitably collapses and I lose my dream job, I guess I'll have it on my resume.
What makes you think that's going to happen?
Because it's not big. Because with my history, it does. It always does. I don't think your database accounts for my family curse. We've always had to, I don't know, compromise, settle, because things rarely work out. You always have to be ready for the worst. It's why I take things in stride these days.
Does that mean you shouldn't even try?
No, I mean, I did take the lifeguard job. I mean, I did go do that, and I wanted to.
It sounds like you don't even really want to try.
I'm skeptical, all right? I open my mouth to protest, and then I close it. I mean, I'm only like 20 steps away. I might as well.
All right.
Pardon me. It's a little early, and I'm a little congested. I'll get there. As often as my life tends to crumble out from under me, it's not like she was wrong. I still had to try. I mean, we did agree to try back in the apartment, because we either could have put a stop to this right now, or we go ahead. And,
Honestly, it's true.
And besides, what I'm really afraid of is that I'll love the job, like really, really love it, and that it will hurt when I lose it. And that I'll just have to sort of stuff that down inside of me and deny that it hurts and pretend like, I'm fine, I can soak it, and I'll just be, have my big person pants on, and I'll just suck it up and keep moving. And that adult life isn't disappointing, and that you really can find happiness somewhere, and that even though a job and an income in a certain structure in certain ways is really required, I'm using off. And besides, Iris was confident to 99.97% based on all the information that she got from me.
She offered.
And whatever I've ever shared anywhere. Gee, I hope this isn't based on all my cat pictures and almost nothing else. And a lot of people poured a lot of science into that number, like she said.
Though honestly, again, since we've not done any research, it's interesting that we are putting so much stock in this. But then again, it's a shorthand convention to be like, all right, you're just going to trust them, because otherwise some characters, I think I would imagine them going like, all right, I need to know exactly who worked on this, where they've worked before, what are their credentials, where are they from.
Or you just go to the App Store and go, how are people rating this?
Right.
Which is freaking hilarious, because usually when I go to the App Store and I go, how are people rating this? I go, I don't agree with your rating at all. You all sound terrible. So when we went there for Freshman Fantasies, and both of us are like, this game is deeply disturbing. This game is deeply uncomfortable. This game is holy
And everybody
crap.
doing reviews on it is going like, yay!
It's so good!
This is so good! And we hate the MC. And I'm like, your MC sounds like a disaster and a poor baby that I sort of want to pick up and take out of the scenario because
they are hurt
really bad.
Honestly.
Like, whoa!
All right, I choose.
I chose.
So I'm having a hard time with this character, honestly, of going, I've never had the connection to it's scary to lose a job. Because I've worked a lot of temp work. And when
You
I was
are
young,
also really confident, though, that you can also get jobs,
Yes,
too.
I've never had a period of unemployed where I didn't want to be unemployed. And I don't know why that is, because as a girl, it can be harder to find work sometimes. I've heard, and I understand. But for me, I have always just been like, I will do anything, and I will do it with it. And I've even had limitations, because I didn't have a car for the longest time, going, I need it within 10 miles of where I live, period. And the temp companies would just find it for me.
I think, honestly, in that way, it's probably been the thing that I've tried to get you to access in regards to me, in regards to getting a job or keeping a job. There is a lot of basically social shaming that comes with, or feels like social shaming that comes with going, I lost my job again. Like,
See, and I
there's
think-
a lot of that, and you're like, no, I can just go find a job again. And I'm like, for me, so imagine my background also, though, too, coming from a higher income bracket than you,
Oh, yeah.
where you're going, I just kind of expect that eventually maybe jobs are just going to go, and that's fine, but I'll always be here. But I'm just like, for me, there's a lot of social pressure to find a career,
Right?
period.
And
Like,
I think that might be the difference. I think that might be a socioeconomic thing. And pardon us while we go off for a minute. This is sparking a lot of basically like sort of just awareness in me of going like, I really think that I've never had a connection to really keeping a job as a sort of badge of honor, because that wasn't a thing I was raised with, because everyone was so poor. Like, my dad had a career,
Right.
but when my mom left him, I was never around him and his friends nearly as much as I was my mom and her experience. And so like my mom was, you know, the really poor one, and she was where I spent almost all my time.
Right.
And like, it was amazing to everyone just loses jobs. That's what jobs
That's
are.
what you
have
do.
them for a while and then they go away. And it wasn't really like I got fired. It was a lot of times the job ended, the contract was
There's
terminated, whatever it is.
a lot of that idea also, I think, of compared to you and I, of living from paycheck to paycheck too. Like, where you're probably more used to people doing that, especially where you've talked to me. So off screen, we definitely talked a little bit more about this, where of going like, you know, we just couldn't afford to pay for things, you know, like pay for bills or pay for the house sometimes.
So my
and you would
mom-
pay like $1 sort of thing towards it. And they would be like, well, we need the full amount. And your mom would actually had figured out how to make sure that you wouldn't lose power or wouldn't lose
So
water for the house.
I had friends that had their amenities turned off like once a month, all the time, because their money, you know, their parents' money wouldn't make it to the end of the month. Like, that was just a thing. Well, we just didn't have phone for the last week. Well, we just don't have electricity today. Like, it just happened because they couldn't afford it. And my mom, even though she was behind on stuff, I don't know if it's a law or what it is, or like company practices, but basically, as long as you're paying something, you're never late on your payments. Even if you're not making the full payment, they can't take the same action against you.
Right.
So she would call in and go, "Hi, I don't have the amount of money that you require today, or you know, but I'm paying $5 towards my bill."
Right.
And she had to call for every single bill every single month until we got more money and could slowly catch up, because, you know, things were different. You know, your kids get sick, you have medical bills, sometimes you have school expenses, whatever.
Sometimes she would get sick too. So,
She
yeah.
was always sick. So,
yeah.
but she had her stuff covered.
Yeah.
I want to say, but because of her income bracket, etc. But I was just like, there's all these things, and it was just really cool, because she could be $150 behind on our electricity bill, but like,
Because she was
since
still
she paid on time every single month $5, she was getting more and more behind, but they couldn't do anything, because she continued to call and be like, "Hey, I intend to pay, and I'm continuing to pay. Here's a good
What I
faith
have,
payment."
yeah.
And she was never late with the payment, even though it was never enough.
Right.
And so we always had power where our friends didn't always. Anyway,
Yeah.
I choose to put my faith in technology. When I walked
Chose.
this morning, right? I owed it to myself to see that through. All right. The truth is that even if I don't consider myself a gamer, I'm certainly decent with computers. With an affinity for silicon, you have to be in 20XX. You really gotta.
It's really important.
And if in the end that science failed me, well, no harm, no foul. At least I tried. And additionally, like, sometimes you apply for 7-8 jobs before you get one. It's no big deal.
It's a big deal.
So I guess I'm just kind of excited that it might be good, like in a tentative, like soft optimism kind of way. And I don't really want to admit it to myself. So I'm afraid to try, because I feel like
Because sometimes it hurts.
I really might be let down, and sometimes that does hurt, yeah. So I opted to push on through those doors and see what waited for me on the other side. All right, here we go, guys, into the fun place.
Yes, into the fun zone.
We
It's the fun.
come
It's
in
the fun
upstairs.
pulse. It's the fun pulse.
Okay, it's fine, but I'm just like, it is. The E is gone.
I'm
On
so
the outside,
charmed.
it was good, though, but that's great. Fun pull? X.
Fun pull pics.
It's a fun pull? X.
Yeah, it's just a fun pull.
The fun
X.
pull. X. I bet we're probably not up here on the balcony, but at the same time, I feel like we are.
Honestly, I love this overhead view. It's very charming, though,
It
too. 'Cause
is.
it lets you get kind of a broad view of everything that's going on. Also, I'm like, that's DDR.
The games
That's
are
adorable.
freaking
I'm like, these are
hilarious
so
for
good.
Showtime
S-
stage.
Something of discomfort.
Snack
Runner.
Runner,
Castle Crunch. Fast Cars 5. Oh my god. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. In the next one, we're actually going to check out Fun Pull X. And then we're going to find out what it's like here.
Yes.
So thank you very much for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. If you'd just like to support us, if you'd just like to tip us because you think we're awesome, or if you'd just like to actually sponsor us to play a video game. Other than that, though, I have been Scandal.
And I love these vending machines. They're so hilarious.
They look like Redbox vending
They
machines.
do, don't they? And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye.